Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lights Out League Racing, Season 32, Race 6. Yes, I repeat, Race 6. We're here already, halfway through the season. And we're racing the street circuit of Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Very tricky circuit. That's quick, fast flowing. And we've added the extra torment of making it a sprint week, which means we're going to have one-shot quali for sprint, followed by the sprint race of around 9 laps, followed by one-shot quali for the feature race, and then the 50% feature race to lap up the time. It's going to be an exciting one. Plenty of points on offer. And Portuguese at the top of the championship has valuable points for him to try and gather. Good evening, everybody that's watching. Mr. Terry Reds, who will be back hopefully in a few weeks after he gets his wheel repaired. Kessler and David Bandit, good evening to you. See you in Div 2. Good evening, Dan. I think Dan's missing this week in Div 2. Good to see him back on track. And Kessler says that Mr. Jax Daniels is very slow. It'd be good for you to know that Mr. Jax Daniels won the last race here in season 30, and all eyes will be on not only Portuguese, who's looked very unbeatable throughout the season, but Jax is no slouch, and he's been on fine form. And if it wasn't for Portuguese, it'd probably be up there with him and Amadi, battling for this season 32 title. But yeah, Portuguese is an absolute monster. Good evening, Fleazy. He's been throwing up all day. Have you been throwing up from the mouth or the bum, or both? That'll be intriguing to see. No, no, no. I do not want to see that. It looked like an exploding fire hydrant. We're getting underway now, as you can see. 15 seconds until one shot quali. I've got myself a coffee this time. I'm absolutely lagging. At this stage in life, I feel like I'm dying. I'm wasting away. We'll crack on and have a look at Benji and see how he gets on in his Mercedes. Approaching turn 1. I'll take the curve to lead into turn 2. This will be entertaining. I'm already entertained. Are you entertained? Approaching turn 4. Blind left-hander. Goes close to the wall as you dare. Hug the inside right. Hug the inside left. Double kiss. Double kiss. This curve is very tricky. Don't want to go on the outside of turn 9. Or you're going it like rails. Currently running P5. The Mercedes here with a brilliant lap. Pompano, the one on provisional pole, round the long left hand of turn 13, a front-banked cambered corner, foot to the throttle as we're weaving our way again, approaching the inside blind right-hander of turn 16, avoid invalidating through 17, and we go through yet another straight line mode. There's 4 of them on this circuit, of course replacing the DRS. Carl's Range and Ramble. That's a mouthful. That's what she said. Through the final sector. As we go through a couple of corners. Linazukan out of quali. Portuguese has found himself at the top once again. Will he get pole as Jax has approached the front row? But we're watching Benji as he opens up the straight line and hugs the inside line to reduce track distance. Crosses the line, and Portuguese does take pole for the 28.9. And we'll see how quick that was in comparison to others, but Benji will be starting 10th. Whenever I think of Benji, I think of the dog off in between us that gets put down because Jay's wanking. 28.9, 2 tenths ahead of Jax Daniels, who'll join him on the front row for sprint. D and Pompano, row 2. Brutus and Wesker could have the Dutchman back on row 3 with George and Tommy, 7th and 8th. Anamako and Benji ran off the top 10. B. Carez, P11, taking up the full-time seat. Alongside Benedict, with Lennon and Benja just behind. Katamit and Sean, he's 15th and 16th, 17th Kiza, 18th Fleazy, Linazuka 19th, and Keltzer 22nd. They're both disqualified. Both not setting a time, so. Dan Morris is standard, and Portuguese another pole. He is an absolute mutant. He is an absolute mutant. We need somebody to take him down. Kessler says he could be P11 in Div 1. You need to perform in Div 2 before you get up to Div 1, my friend. Easy to do a 29.5 in Div 2. He's sandbagging. He's also not very well, and he's joined very much last minute. I think we'll see how he gets on in this Div 1 race. He might not even make Div 2. He might end up shitting his pants and having a front like a baby's bib. But what do we reckon, guys? Who's taking this sprint? Is it Portuguese? Will he get jumped at the start? And it's only 9 laps, so you don't have long to defend. I'm going to go Jax. I'm going to go Jax, Portuguese, and Pompano. Dan says Portuguese, Pompano, and D. Terry says Portuguese, Jackson, D. They both love the DIC. In the mouth. Bandit says Fleas he's going to do well tonight. Just giving a sick bucket next to him. Well, he must get tips from me. I have a shit bucket next to me. He's not even sick. He's joking. Why are you lying for? Jackson Katamise on the podium with everyone else DNF. Now that would be a story. That would be a story. Portuguese Jackson Pompano finishing on the podium last week in Suzuka. And I think we're going to get a repeat of that. But Jax is going to go ahead. Not long to go now, and very good job to everybody of not readying up. And I repeat this and emphasise this to Div 2. Do not ready up. You'll get warning in Discord as well. Do not ready up for anything. Only Benji will do so. And I will write it in Discord. You will be punished big time, and not in a good way. Kansas Fleece is making an excuse to not being able to win this week. We shall see. He might find his rhythm. And he reckons Portuguese is first in both. Terrace is reminding us that there may be a new elite champion leader with Senna missing this week. So big points on offer for those that are fighting for that championship. And we're looking at the likes of Benji, who's in Pete. No, that's a race results. What a gimp. An idiot. We're looking at the likes of Katamise, who's got 2 points behind. Lennon's only 6 points behind. 8 points behind is Wesker and Kiesa. It's all to play for. Damora's cheering on Wesker. Imagine Katamise winning the elite. We won't hear the end of it. Add to his trophy room. Let's have a look what tyres I want on. So, there's a good handful choosing the hards. The front two are a couple of those choosing that option. Does that mean that's the better tyre? Is tyre wear a little bit ropey? Now that would be very interesting. This track's been on the calendar since 2021, so not around for that long. And one of 6 night races on the calendar. That's been on the calendar as well. 27 corners, so a lot of for the drivers to navigate. The most on the F1 calendar, of course, with 27. But will we see this track much longer? with Kadia creeping up. It's due, last time I saw, for 2028. I'll be alternating, and that's looking like it's going to be an absolute carnage fest, which I'm here for. Portuguese going into his grid spot with Jack Daniels will be on the inside at P2. Amadi and Six Pompano just behind Brutus and Wesker, 5th and 6th. Where's Brutus going? George 7th in his Red Bull with Tommy just behind him. Adamako P9 and Benji round off the top 10 we saw in quali. Perez, both Williams side by side. 11th and 12th, Lennon 13th, Benja 14th, Katami's 15th, who could jump in the lead of the championship. Shawnee 16th, Keys 17th, Fleasy 18th, 19th for Lina Zukin and Heitzer, both not setting a time. This is going to be a good one. We're in the sunshine in Saudi, which means that track's going to be hot, hot, hot. We've got 4, 5 lights here in race 6. Away we go, and it's a decent start from Portuguese. Amadi getting side by side with Jax. Will he have the inside line? The Portuguese blocks off the Swiss driver, and Amadi's now got up to P2, taking opportunity in that free open gap. Big gains for Katami. He's up 3 places, same as Fleasy. Benedict lost out for 4 or 5 places, but he's gained and back up at heights. Looks like he's potentially, and him, Lina Zukin, facing the wrong way. Benedict, who's not really done that much practice this week, lost out and is down to P15. Practice makes perfect, as Lennon makes a perfect overtake on Katami's up to P12. Gets quite condensed around turn 16. You cannot go side by side. It's very, very risky. Now, what I do hear about this track is that the battery management is so difficult. Heights are getting past Keyser, who's lucky to getting back from having a shit. I hear he doesn't wipe. On the inside of the Alpine just clips the McLaren of Brutus. And he just manages to avoid any incident as Adamako getting ahead of the Red Bull up to P8. Red Bull, oh, does he miss his braking point? Claps the back of Adam. Thankfully no damage done there, as Amadi is now taking the lead of the race, which no one really expected that. I thought someone would get jumped quite early, and Portuguese has lost out to the Aston Martin. He's got a train of cars all over his grill as well, all the way down to Fleasy in 15th. Adamako and George at it once again. George is going slightly off track, but they're going drag race. Oh my, who's that? Perez speeding through the middle. The Williams looking racy, but he's got to do it in a fair way without hitting anybody. And forces his way through ahead of the Ferrari. That was aggressive, and he's probably used a lot of his battery, and he's going to be under threat on this second part of the lap. As the Mercedes, it looks like he's hit the wall. He's got a damaged wing, so he's probably best just letting people go. It is only a sprint race, of course. As Amadi losing out with the straight line mode. Oh, him and Pompano go wheel to wheel, and Amadi just slightly taps the wall but gets past Pompano, I think, who's giving him the position back. Amadi having a look on the inside of the final corner on Jax, but Jax has retained P2. Heights are working his way up now, just jostling with Shawnee P up to P15. Wesker with the fastest lap at the moment. Found himself up to P5. Mr. Spin himself. Good wheel-to-wheel racing through tight S bends right at the start of the lap. Pompano having to stop behind the Aston Martin once again. Exchange of positions for the Mercedes drivers as Tommy's now finding down into P11. He does have wing damage, which is going to find these tight twisting corners very difficult. The downforce just not as effective as the Haas. And Katami's goes on through. Tommy has given way, gets a track limits penalty. Wow, wow, wee wow, what's going on here? Wesker heard Senna wasn't here and is looking. This could be a move. This could be a move. This could be a move. What a move from the Welshman through turn 16, 17. I can't believe my eyes. That is risky, and that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Wesker, applaud him as well for his driving and awareness to go wheel to wheel through the tight start of sector 3, end of sector 2, sorry. As he's used a lot of his battery, and Wesker goes back on through up to P4. He's not giving it up though. On the inside of the final corner, Wesker showed a better exit, and he does. And Brutus could get a better launch from Six Pompano as well. But Pompano just squeezing Dutchman towards the wall. And we've lost Tommy. I think he's retired in the pits and saving his energy for the race. Brutus, as we watch him, gets caught on our track limits. It's just the front two now, halfway through the sprint. Jack's just staying within touching distance of the Audi driver. Amadi just could not keep up. He must have burnt a lot of his battery right at the start of the sprint. As we see, the Williams of Carrez up to P7 now. And he's shown his teammate up quite a bit here. There's Adamako side by side with George through 16, 17. Oh, what a move again. Oh, what's happened? Oh no, Wesker. Oh, he's just hit the wall coming out of 17. Ashley says the cards just suddenly had no grip on power, and he did make a good start. But this is, maybe you've learned quite a bit from the sprint that you can carry on into the race. Wesker now down to P13. Wheel to wheel height through, gets past him up to 13th. I think he's probably got a little bit damaged. It's unlucky. Was it his own doing? Shawnee P on the inside. It's very tight. Left enough room. Yeah, was it his own doing, or was it with wheel to wheel? Is Brutus now challenging the Welshman, or loses a bit of rear end out of turn 2? That's Carrez now up to P5. Incredible job from the driver that's just taken on the full-time seat. We've booted Barca out of the seat because he just doesn't show up. And Carrez, the Hungarian, hungry for a potential podium. He's not far off. It might be a big ask. Benji keeping George on his side. What's happened to Wesker again? Oh, he's dropped it. Coming out of turns 11. Oh, he's lost his head. It's fell off his shoulders. It's Shawnee and Fleasy. Div 2 rivals at the moment. Shawnee ahead. Wesker letting everyone through. Well, I think he's lost a bit of traction through the hairpin. He's limping home. He's also got a limp penis. So we catch Adam and George. Adam and Brutus, sorry. Adam challenging the McLaren after just shaking off the Red Bull. He knows that Brutus has got a track limits penalty as well. Adam now into the top 6. Getting his nose just ahead of the McLaren. And Adam didn't have the greatest of races last week. From early doors, had a bit of contact, but the sprint race he's come back fighting. And now into the top 6, as mentioned. Pompano has dropped now back from Amadi. He's got a yellow flag. It's Wesker again on the final corner. He's lost his head. He's lost his head. So everyone's slightly spread out now. We'll keep an eye on the Ferrari. He's got a good line on the McLaren. Round turn 13 has the inside line. And just allows Benja to slot behind. Mr. Spin do what he does best. Exactly. Lennon, Catanese on track. Lennon looking to get himself into the top 10. Oh, Katames. Right, left, tapping the wall. Would have cost him a little bit of time. I think Lennon just stayed back a little bit just in case Katames lost a bit of control. Closing. Katames has got massive straight line speed. Lennon's going to have to be wise to try and get past this fridge. As B. Carez, wheel to wheel here with Pompano. Brilliant racing once again, leaving us with plenty of room. Carez, has he got his nose just ahead? I think Pompano will have to pull out. He does. Brilliant driving here, Williams. I'm loving this full-time debut. He didn't really get to race properly last week with the lobby issue. As Katames. Oh, Lennon, something's happened to Lennon. What are you doing down there? Heitzer is finding himself from the back of the grid up behind the fridge of Katames. And this will be an interesting overtake if he can make it. Biden's time for the next straight line mode after turn 16, 17. Oh, I says. Oh, Katames, naughty. We saw that. Leaving room. Someone kick that cat. Put him in a wheelie bin. Right, not able to close up just as yet. Will he get a second bite of the cherry? And Pompano fighting back with B. Carez. B. Carez losing out a couple of positions. It's a 3-car battle here for the final corner. As Benji just getting ahead of Brutus at the final corner. It's a 3-car battle with Pompano leading the way. Adamaco and Carez in a straight line approaching turn 1. Adam takes a quick look on the inside and just slots behind again as Brutus takes the position back and says thank you very much. Plenty of overtakes considering drivers are struggling with battery. So he's losing out to Benja, and Benja trying to retake it. Heitzer though has got past Katames and potentially will finish in the top 10. Bandit cheering on Fleasy. As George now getting past Brutus. Is that wing damage? Are the medium tyres just struggling a little bit? Oh! And a snap of understeer from the McLaren and clatters the wall. And I don't know if he damaged George or not. That was unfortunate from the McLaren, but we caught it with delicious. Adamaco very tight to the Welshman, looking for that P4 finish as he's on the penultimate lap here. Pompano defends the inside, but Adamaco speeds on through, and right on the outside goes Carez. Is that a double overtake for the Williams driver? Adamaco holding the inside, and Carez has now got himself into the top 4 as Lennon does get past Katames. Benja on the inside as well. Keyser fleecing Fleasy. I'll jump back for this battle for P4. That sees Carez holding the position as it stands. Adamaco though, you're going to have to follow him through this middle sector. I got my sectors wrong again. What a clown move. Heitzer and Lennon. Lennon to looking to get himself into the top 10. Head of turn 4. Great move from the Cadillac. How do you like it? How do you like it? More, more, more. We're now in the second sector. As Adam on the inside of 13. This is ace driving from Carez, and Adamaco with an inch space just moves his car ahead of the Williams. Portuguese just not able to shrug off Jack Daniels, but Jack's also not able to find any sort of inroad on the leader who took pole. Hasn't had the lead of the sprint the whole way, but we'll have to settle as Jack's just lets off the gas. Portuguese will come home and take sprint. Congratulations to him, followed by Mr. Jack Daniels. George losing out a couple of places as Carez get under threat from Adam on the final corner. A bit of wheel to wheel. Oh, lost the traction from Six Pompano, who's trying to keep with him, but it's going to be a race to the line. Pompano Adamako loses out to Perez on the line, takes P4 as Amadi came home P3. What a 700ths between Perez and Adamako, and Pampano just behind in P6. Benji and Brutus 7th and 8th. Heights and 9th, and Glennon rounding off the top 10. Benji 11th, Katamis 12th, Shawnee 13th, George 14th, Keyser 15th, Fleasy thrown up in 16th. Benedict, who's struggled for this sprint, and I hope he's learned quite a bit, will finish 17th, with Linda Zukin finishing once again, and P18. Like in this race, like he did in Suzuka last week. Benedict needs an invite. I'll have to drop him one in a minute. Portuguese then with fastest lap as well with 1:35. Jax Daniels with P2 and Amadi P3. Perez coming home P4. Adam 5th. 6 Pompano 6th. Benji taking the sprint win in elite with Brutus 8th. Heights and 9th. Lennon will get P2 and Benja P3 with 10th and 11th. Katamis and Shawnee 12th and 13th with George Keyser Fleasy. Benedict and Linda Zukin, your finishers. Wesker and Tommy DNFing. We'll have a couple of moments. I can't get him an invite until the formation lap, unfortunately. Oh, he's back in, lovely. Wow, that was an intense and exciting sprint race, and I'm pretty sure it's all what to come for the feature race. We still got another shot of quali. Do we reckon Portuguese are going to get back-to-back poles? Jax did look feisty. Amadi, Pompano, B. Perez, Adamako looked very, very strong. Well, can't call it. Terry's top 3 predictions in order was correct. Get me my lottery numbers. I suppose logically you have to go Portuguese for another pole. He's quicker than a knife fight in a phone box, and I think you don't know. All he needs to do is just mess up one corner, and he's done. I think there was a slight potential incident in the race between George and Brutus. We shall see, but we're back on here with let's see who we go on with. All right, Mr. Lennon then, as he's going round the lap once again. Brutus, after the first couple of corners, he's up there with Amadi. So is Keyser after Martins out the front. Keyser provisionally on pole. He's going to have a heart attack. He took the first couple of corners the best. The Portuguese is only P13. Jack Daniels is up there with Amadi now. Portuguese have had an absolute mare as we approach in turn 13 and start sector 2. Long left-hander, the inside line is the better line to take to get a better grip on the exit, and you can close the door on the car on the outside. But Amadi at the moment at the top. Portuguese has found himself. Oh, those last few corners he must have nailed. Top of the curb from the Cadillac out of 17 has cost him a lot of time and found him outside the top 10 now. And Portuguese had a nightmare of first sector, but he's clawed it back in the space of a few corners. Still not over yet, says the fat lady. Wesker and George both DNFing. Long final couple of kinky corners as we approach the final corner of turn 27. Foot on the throttle as close to the wall as possible. Then move over to the left hand side to minimise track distance. Portuguese 28.7 gets pole once again. And I think there's a bigger gap here between the front two. He's just locked in for one shot quali. You can't argue against that. He's got almost half a second gap between Jax Daniels, who's joined him on the front row once again. Amadi and Pompano again on row 2 with Tommy and Brutus just behind. Adamako 7th, Benji 8th, Benja 9. Benji is doing very well. Carrez ran off the top 10. Shawnee Fleasy, Keezer, Heights Academies, Lennon, Benedict, Wesker, George, Lenazukan, all not able to set a time. And for the form that Wesker had in the sprint race, you'll be very disappointed with that. But the elite driver to look out for this week is Benji. Looking very, very strong and very racy. It's quicker than green grass through a goose. Let's have your predictions again, guys. Bring him on. I want it. I'm going to have to change it then. I'm going to have to go Portuguese. I'm going to have to go Portuguese, Jax. And I'm going to go B. Carrez as P3. Kessler says same as sprint. What? Jackson, Catamies and everyone else DNF? Or he potentially thinks that it's going to be a... Terry's reckon it's going to be Jax, Keezer and Benedict. Oh, he's on the pipe, he is. Yeah, I'm gonna go Portuguese Jax and Bicarez as it stands in the championship. Portuguese is the leader after 5 races. He's got a 49-point gap to Amadi and P2, and Jax Daniels both on the same points, both P2. Apologies, and then there's a further 30-odd points back to Pompano and Ashley and George Plaster, who's not with us this week. So you have to say that Portuguese is just looking unbeatable at the moment. The current championship holder is just carrying on his form from last season. In the Platinum Championship, Portuguese leading the way again. And he's got a 35-point gap to Amadi and P2. Closely followed by Jax and George. As we go back to Elite, as we mentioned earlier, Senna on 64 points, Katami 62 points, Lennon 58 points, Wesker 56 points, Kizagiza 56 points, Benji 45, Benja 45. It's going to be a tight championship, this one. Constructors is Audi leading the way by 35 points over Haas, with Aston Martin close behind, all to play for. Team game with that one, but Audi definitely being carried by Portuguese at this stage of the season. It's a very fast circuit, second only to Monza. Quicker than the likes of Silverstone, but I'm pretty much aware that you're not on his throttle as much as you used to be, having to try and retain some of the battery. But it is the fastest street circuit ever in F1. Wesker and Zukin colliding on the formation. Like, Wesker's just having an absolute nightmare, isn't he? Portuguese leading the way round the circuit, just giving himself a big gap here. I don't know if I agree with that one or not, but be sitting on the grid a bit too long. It's a 6.1 kilometre anti-clockwise circuit, 27 corners, 16 to the left, 11 to the right, with the 4 straight line mode sections. Have a look at everyone's tyre strategy with a bit of a split. Front 3 of the front 4 starting on the hards, 5 of the top 7, so looking like the alternate strategy is potentially the way to go. Tommy Ash did say in sprint that the hards were very difficult to drive, but one stop is possible. Obviously we'll navigate any potential incidents and safety cars. Portuguese jumping into his grid spot with Jax alongside him, who's got a good few metres behind to close the gap. Amadi on his grid box as well, P3 alongside Pompano. Tommy Ash and Brutus 5th and 6th with Anamaka and Benji. Benji, of course, taking pole in the elites with Benji alongside him. He's doing an absolute cracking job in Div 1 at the moment. B. Carez, my tip for the podium, starting P10. Fleasy alongside Shawnee with Kiza and Heitzer, 13th and 14th. Katamis and Lennon, ooh, tasty, 15th and 16th with Benedict, 17th, 18th, 19th and 20th for those that didn't qualify. It's 168 metre from run down to turn 1. Breaking point from pole. We're here in race 6 at night. 3, 4, 5. Here in Lights Out League Racing, it's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start from Jax Daniels, who closes the gap on Amadi, who made a jump of him in the sprint race. He's going to get boxed in once again by Portuguese, and it could be the same move that Amadi did. Jax Daniels looks like he's just retained the position though, but Amadi not giving it up. Jax has the inside, goes deep. That would have cost him a track limit warning, but he keeps that P2. Katamis already up 5 positions, up to the top 10. Biggest loser, Keys Geezer, losing out to down to P19 and just having the worst start, even though he got the best start in the one-shot quali. B. Carez, who's been caught out by the Fat Cat, will look to just settle himself, get through the first lap. Looks like there's no real incidents here. Brutus trying to get past Amadi, gets squeezed out and through. Oh, where's Tommy gone? That's opportunism. Was that brave or was that crazy? But he's up to the top 4 now. Saw a door. It was a sliding door and he smashed straight through it. Amadi now behind the Mercedes. It looks like everyone's made it through safe and sound as Jax with Portuguese drag race down to the final corner. Jax taking a quick look on the inside but loses out and braking to the Audi. Heights are gaining 2 places and it's always a good place to overtake. Now it's going to get quite congested down to turn 1. Shawnee and Heitzer approaching turn 1. Heitzer has the inside but just hit quite the side of Shawnee, misses his braking point. The Ferrari lets the Visa carb go, and through goes George as well. For respectful driving from the Ferrari. Oh no, Fleasy, he's thrown up. He's thrown up, he's got a pavement pizza, and he's in the runoff area. He's in the wrong way coming out of turn 4. Unfortunate for the Cadillac. And I would not be surprised if he did just save himself some energy and save himself for the Div 2 race. On the outside, the Cadillac on Benedict, but Benedict got a better exit. The Alpina Wesker looking to go ahead through as well on Lennon, he does. Opportunism at its finest from the Alpine, who's looking to do a last to first attempt, and he's going next for Lennon. Through the Weaving S's as we come to the end of Sector 2. But Benedict just staying just ahead for now. Ferrari Heitzer and Shawnee P once again. This could be a double overtake. It is a double overtake for the Ferrari. The Red Bull's a sitting duck here. George has got a lot of straight line speed. gets very congested through the corner, and I applaud the awareness of all these Div 1 drivers, as Portuguese has lost out to Jax Daniels, and Six Pompano took a jump as well at the championship leader, and is settling for the P2, but just behind him is Pompano, Tommy, Armadi, Adam, Benji and Brutus, all snapping at the champion leader's heels, putting pressure on the Audi, trying to make him make a mistake, but he's a solid driver. Of course he is. Of course he is. Jax got himself back in front then. A track that is one of his strongest. Just let double overtake further down with Wesker getting him ahead of the Ferrari, and Lennon now ahead of Benedict, who's just really struggling on the setup that he's got. It shows that practice is required. He just hasn't had the time this week, unfortunately. But if he finishes the race, he gets himself some points nonetheless. And it's always important towards the team game, and especially now he's got himself a potential regular teammate. Try and get himself up the Constructors' Championship. Wesker going through on Shawnee up to P13. Shawnee getting the double overtake. Oh, Helzer bailed out of that one as he almost clattered the back of Wesker. Shawnee ahead of the Alpine once again. Got a yellow flag. It is Leonard Zuken. He's lost control of his car on the final corner. Just a yellow flag. As Portuguese back ahead of Jax. I think we're going to be seeing some to-in and fro-in as the race unfolds. As Hudson Shawnee at it once again. This is a fantastic battle here for P13. It's not all about winning races and podiums and titles. It's about racing and having fun while you're doing it, and this looks like it's lots of fun. Challenging yourself, challenging your respective drivers. What's happened to Fleasy? He span out at turn 4. He's managed to close the gap on Linazuken, but he's carrying on going. I think he threw up while driving and distracted himself. At the moment, Wesker taking a look at George. He goes off the track at 22. Through goes Wesker, and George is all out of sorts. As Heitzer goes through as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Shawnee takes a snap at his heels as well. George not giving that one up. We'll get the door closed as he goes into the back of the Alpine. Oh, the Ferrari sandwiched. Whoa, that could have been a bit of a moment. But, awareness from the three of them. Love it a lot. As turn 1 and 2 is going to be... Oh, yeah, that's what I expected to happen. And Shawnee gets squeezed in between two. There's nowhere for him to go. And it's bound to happen. Bound to happen. Shawnee now down in 18th. Heitzer jumping the Cadillac as Jax Daniels has jumped the Audi back into the lead of the race. Portuguese just biding his time. Has the inside line of 13. And I think he'll try and jump Jax down towards 22. There's George, inside line. Bench has joined this fight as the battle is caught up to the McLaren. At the moment, Katamise is this cork in a bottle. George manages to get past without any mither. I say that. Katamise back ahead. He must have some mega straight line speed as Benja taps the back of the Haas and ends up losing. Oh, that could have been dangerous coming on the track, almost colliding with the Ferrari. Watch this battle unfold as we'll have 4 cars approaching the same corner at the same time. 5 cars, he says. Benedict just behind. Oh, lots of rear end from the Ferrari. Benedict just slightly losing out. Probably got tapped by the slight error from the Ferrari. going on the outside of 2, giving himself a bit of racing space. But it's a cluster of cars here, as Wesker and Katamise having a fight, and Linsuken's retired into the pits. He's had enough for today. Wesker ahead now of the Haas, showing that it can be done. Will George attempt to run down to 13? Need a better exit coming out of the weaving corners. Haas proving very difficult to overtake. Oh, what a move from Heitzer. Snuck on the inside of George. I didn't think George even saw him coming then either. Now can he make a jump on the Haas? The Haas will defend the racing line. Nothing that can Ferrari do as yet. We see Lennon. Oh, contact from Lennon on George. Just misses the wall. Managed to just keep control of his car, just. Benedict's capitalised on that as Kieser goes through on Lennon as well. The Ferrari has finally managed to get past the Haas at the final corner. George overtaking Bender as he's just dropping down the order now after brilliant qualifying. We're giving him good confidence going into the Div 2 race. Bender taking a quick look at George, but not close enough to make a move, and we do not condone dive bombs. Speaking of bombs, Jack's still in the lead of the race. Looks like he's just controlling the pace now. Front 4 have broken away. Amadi just really struggling with battery retention, I think. As I speak, and Adamako capitalises on that with the alternate strategy. And up to P5 now, the Ferrari. And potentially can just look ahead to try and close the gap on the front 4. There's Benji and Brutus switching places. Mercedes doing a platinum job here. Currently on in the elite division, of course, but it looks like Benedict's found his rhythm as he's having a great tussle here with the Red Bull. Moves happening up and down the grid. So we're going back and have a look at Amadi on Adamako. Not got enough juice to get at him at the final corner. Will he have a second bite of the cherry approaching turn 1? Benedict and George. Benedict's winning at the moment. Shawnee P overtaken Geezer. Mr. Constructors Championship hoarder. Katamise. That wasn't great from Katamise. Rode the curb and forced Benedict off the track. That will be one to the steward's room, I'm sure. George and Benja going through as Benedict will, I'm pretty sure, be effing and jeffing in the voice chat. Single file train through turns 9 and 10. Katamise just slightly closing the door on George, who's looking to have the inside line. Later braking. Red Bull takes the corner. Katamise goes on the outside. And goes Benja as well. And Benedict ends up facing the wrong way. Lost himself an end plate in the melee. And yeah, he's not had the best couple of laps. Wesker going through those hard tyres, potentially the best tyre to be on at this stage of the race, maybe like a equal round, but Brutus getting past Benji, then slapping him down and saying, I'm the platinum driver here. And it's saying there's a big crash there. Yeah, I think it's a street circuit. It's very tight, isn't it? As Jack's retaining the lead of the race, approaching turn 4. And he keeps his nose ahead. This is aggressive driving from the Haas. He wants this win. He's been waiting for a win all season. Perez, the first one to pick up a track limits, as he's joined that Benji and Brutus battle for P7. 6 Pompano and Tommy shown some pace that I wouldn't say was unexpected, but Portuguese and Jackson are not pulling away, and their race pace is one to keep an eye on. With 16 laps or so to go, not only the podium positions are up for grabs, but the win. Any four of these can take it as it stands. Adamaco just keeping Amadi at bay. The Flying Scotsman currently flying in the wake of the Ferrari. Brutus on the outside. Got another yellow flag. It's an Alpine. It's Wesker. He's dropped it again. Coming round turn 22. He's not having the best couple of races here. And is now down to 18th. After doing so well. Benji retaking the position from Brutus. P7. The Mercedes. Bicarez just waiting with intent as Catamese overtaking the McLaren and approach to turn 1. McLaren, a little love tap there, nothing to cry about. Catamese proving to be quite a bit slow out the traction zones. And Wesker just retiring the pit, not having the greatest of races. Terry Red suggesting, could Tommy do an undercut and switch onto the hards? It is a way to go, and I'd probably say the same for Pompano. All you got to do is get yourself ahead, and doing the undercut may be the way to go. One or two might hold out potentially for a safety car. Brutus ahead of the Mercedes. Bicarez closing the gap as we approach the end of sector 2. Those 3 cars condense into the space of about 6. Another bite of the cherry. Brutus is going to be under threat. The Mercedes saw the Williams coming. Is this going to be a double overtake? Brutus just closes the door. And Bicarez has got that position over Benji as Tommy does pit. He must have been listening. Advice from Terry Reds as Perez then goes through up to P6. And Benji and Brutus will have to just look at the back of that Williams for the next couple of laps. Heights are in the bits as well, along with Catamese, who's struggling on those mediums. You could see and just could not get any sort of power out of the slow corners. Tommy's come out behind his teammate, but he's got 8.5 seconds of clean air, which is exactly what he needed. And this could be, if he can nail this outlap, a stroke of genius from the Mercedes, offered to him, of course, by Mr. Terry Reds. Maybe you should be his race engineer until you get your wheel back. Let's have a look at Brutus as he's trying to make a jump on the Hungarian. Not the easiest place to do it now, but with a straight line mode. We saw Bicarez do them on the last lap. And Adamaco and Amadi having a fantastic battle for P4 as it stands. Bicarez with the speed to keep himself ahead. Has he used too much juice to defend down to the line and down to turn 1? Wheel to wheel racing again from Jax and Portuguese. Can Jax keep himself just ahead? I think riding the curve a bit too much. He's got the inside of turn 4. Will Portuguese let him go? He does. This is very aggressive driving from Jax Daniels as in goes D, Carez, Benji and George. All to stick some fresh rubber on. Shaw, Benja and Lennon in too. So this is the pit strategy for mediums to hards. Only 5-second gap to Brutus, who everyone else ahead started on the hards. This could be very interesting to see. Probably say they're maybe going to pit in a couple of laps time, the hard runners. I wouldn't hold out for a safety car. The skill on show by Interesting here. Interesting here. B. Carez has come out ahead of Amadi. B. Carez under pit stops has come out ahead of Amadi. So Amadi maybe had a wing change or something, but is out in P9 behind the Williams. Both stuck behind Shawnee P, who's yet to pit. B. Carez just should be a reasonable enough overtake. Shawnee P holding his line though. Carez having to slot behind the Visa Carb and overtake on the next straight. Pompano in. Hards to mediums. Is he looking to do the undercut? This is going to be incredible. Carez flies on past. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. Amadi goes through. He's looking for the double overtake here. Amadi. Carez holding the inside line. Amadi will have to slot that behind the Williams, but it's going to be a drag to turn one. Carez holding the left-hand side, the inside of turn one. And has too much speed for the Aston Martin to hold on to as we go and see Benedict and Kiza. Kiza on the outside. Oh, just turns in on Benedict. Heitzer on the outside looking to jump them both while they're squabbling. This could be the moves that this Ferrari's making. Incredible. Open gap, opened his mouth and gobbled it up. What's Catamese and Lennon doing here? Come on, Catamese, drop back so his car becomes not a ghost anymore. A ghost! So he's pitting the course. Looks like Lennon's done the undercut on the Haas. Amiash come out ahead, 3 seconds ahead of 6 Pompano. Let's join the front two once again and see Jack's the inside line of turn 27. The Audi just hitting the back of the Haas, and both still carrying on then. I'm not going to give this up, but they could be under threat from the undercut. Tommy setting the fastest laps, so showing that he's got the better pace. There's Carez and D. Carez still just ahead. Jack's just keeping in his nose ahead, and this is incredible battle. Brutus gives himself a penalty. Tommy's 4 seconds ahead of 6 now. Yeah, but he is on the medium tyres as Tommy goes through, and Brutus, he did not want to get stuck behind the McLaren for too long, and he made light work of that and has a good 6 seconds or so gap to Adamaco, who's still yet to pit. Shawnee P in the pits will come out potentially behind Fleasy. It's going to be a tight one. Katame's Benja losing out to Lennon, so Katame's just not able to switch these hard tyres on just as yet. George keeping Kiza on, and Kiza still yet to pit, doing the hards to mediums. George taking a look on the inside of 13. Should be an easy enough move. Better grip, better line, and P12 for the Red Bull. Jax Daniels just dropping out here of the 1 second. He should still have, or he might not have overtake mode, and now is the time to pit. Both going in, and crucially for Portuguese, he was just outside the overtake mode zone. Adamaco's choosing to go in as well, so let's see where Tommy goes. It's my Tommy gun. Goes through. Portuguese is still in the box, and that wasn't a fresh wing, surely. It wasn't a fresh wing, but Tommy and Pompano have both gone through and have made the undercut work, and have got a good 3 seconds advantage over Portuguese and Jax Daniels. B. Carez has found himself now in P5 with Amadi all over the back of him. Adamaco has found Amadi straight away and gets himself ahead. No slouching from the Ferrari. Nudges the Aston Martin out the way. Benedict in the pits are going on the mediums as well. So that's everybody apart from Kiza that has made their pit stop. Kiza hoping for that safety car. Benji's in with the mix as well for this battle for P5. There's many contenders here for driver of the day. Adamaco wheel to wheel with Carez once again, as we had earlier in the race, and Adamaco just ahead of 16, slides on through and up to P5. Jack Daniels not able to stay with Portuguese as of yet, but once Portuguese catches up to Pompano, if he can, I'm sure Jax will find himself in the mix too. Both not quite in the overtake mode zone yet, which you've got to be within 1 second of the car ahead to gain yourself some extra horsepower for the lap. Pompano can see the Portuguese driver behind him, gets himself the fastest lap as it stands. 2 seconds behind Tommy. Tommy on the alternate strategy, of course, and will his tyres be the better ones on the final stages of this race? Keys are now in the pits after doing 15 laps on the hard tyres. Incredible job that. Terry's reiterating what I've said. Incredible debut, full-time debut here for B. Carez. Running P6. Does have a track limits penalty, which as it stands will take him down to P8. But still a brilliant drive, and he's been doing some brilliant wheel-to-wheel racing and a great addition to Lights Out League Racing. Portuguese has now caught up to Pompano, coming through the final sector. Jack Daniels needs to close this gap if he wants any shout to have this battle with Portuguese. Portuguese extra burst of speed overtakes the Visa Carb up to the P2. Pompano though has been looking very strong and needs to stay with the Portuguese driver to rope in the Haas. And the 30.8 from Portuguese, just emphasising the strength and speed that he has, and they are closing on the Mercedes. So it still is a four-way battle for this lead at the moment. Tommy has the say, but it's going to be a tight one, I'm sure. Mako, very confident drive this week, and one without B. Carez is also... Oh, B. Carez is a... Yeah, Benji will take the elite win. I forgot B. Carez was an elite driver. Also check out on this battle for P9. Brutus just ahead of the Ferrari, but we've seen Heltzer not give up positions and make some dareish moves. They've been ones that I wouldn't expect, but they've been clean. He's just taken opportunities and got past. And there's a saying, isn't there, about if there's a gap, you should take it, otherwise you shouldn't be racing or something along those lines. I can't remember. I'm sleepy. But this is a good exit. Brutus looks like he's spent, and through goes Heltzer up to P9. Nothing that Brutus could do to defend that one. Portuguese has closed in on Tommy. Is within that 1 second. Let's check out and see Shawnee P overtake the Fridge through turn 22. Great move from the Visa Carb. Castanese will not give that position up though. Goes for the overtake on the outside. Looks like he's letting off his throttle. I think he's trying to save battery and trail brake into the corner. He gets a better exit out of the final corner and save some battery to give him a push down the start-finish straight towards turn 1. And to be fair, that was clever throttle management from the Haas to reserve some battery. Gets himself up to 14th. Jack Daniels has caught up to the Welshman. We'll need to... Let's just see here, bound to have some sort of into the Shawnee P all over the back of Catamese through the weaving streets of Jeddah. Gets a better line as Catamese goes wide. Get himself a track limits penalty warning, I'm sure. Has a quick look on the inside again. Brakes later. Is there a switchback though from the Visa Carb? Side by side going towards it again. It is a brilliant switchback from the Visa Carb as Jacques Daniels now up to P3, and almost within a second, Portuguese has retaken the lead of the race. Tommy is right with him, and the 4 cars are at it now once again. Can they stay in those positions? As 1 or 2 will not have the overtake mode to use. Just keeping the Ferrari honest, up to P9. Reserve driver in the Ferrari. Reserving for Senna. How could I forget? Doing a brilliant job, and reserves of course get half points in the constructors to assist the teams that they're representing. Tommy's now dropped back from Portuguese. Just hasn't got the pace on these hard tyres, and Jacques needs to dispatch the Mercedes as quick as possible to try and close the gap on his championship rival. He needed to be ahead at the pit stops, I think. Tommy goes to defend the outside line as Jacques on the inside. And you can see Portuguese just coming around the final corner. He's got 2 seconds gap to close. He needs to get himself in that 1 second. Portuguese has put his foot to the floor and sets himself another fastest lap. As continuous battle to and fro, the yellow flag on the final corner, is it? No, it's D. Yeah, D. D has dropped it on the final corner, is now down to P10. Scotsman, I think, will be not very happy. They'll be tossing cabers everywhere. And it isn't a euphemism for masturbating. We're just currently ahead then of the Ferrari and now the Aston Martin. There's an incident there with the likes of Adam or B. Shawnee and Catamese further down still having a good squabble. This 3-car attack for P2, trying to close the gap. He's gained a couple of tenths on the Audi. He's still got 6 laps to go, including this one, so still all to play for. And we have seen Portuguese in the past make an error. He's looking very strong in his current form, but he is known to make an error every so often. He's just got himself an extra couple of tenths advantage over the chasing pack. Check out how Benedict and Shawnee are doing. Benedict involved in this squabble, and Houtz and Brutus exchanging positions once again. Benedict with a little bit of extra juice at the end of sector 2. Catamese just behind, arriving at a rate of knots, but Benedict, door closed, nowhere you can go. Where's his wing gone? Oh, he's got the Voldemort glitch. Gets himself finally past Shawnee up to P14. Catamese and Fleasy's. Fleas, the vomit everywhere, all over the back of that cat. Looks like Catamese is shaping up for an overtake. He does. On the outside, he's going to try and do a double overtake. No. Wise move as Benedict shots that inside line. He's not letting that cat through the cat flap. Oh, slight oversteer from the Haas. Through goes Fleasy. Shawnee gets stuck behind the Haas, trying to move on the other side. Or did he have, was he left enough room as Catamese was looking on his left shoulder? But Fleasy went on through with massive gumption. Heitzer and Brutus basically tethered together by a string of 2 meters length. And we'll exchange positions once again as Shawnee P does get past Catamese. Battle for the podium. Looks like Pompano may have just ran out of juice. Dropped now almost 3 seconds behind the podium sitters and almost out of podium range. Got himself the P3 last weekend, Suzuka. It looks like he just hasn't got that much more in his tank. Either that, he's just preserving himself a little bit of energy for the final couple of laps, but the gap is too big unless somebody makes a mistake ahead. Tommy here doing a brilliant job on the alternate strategy. Did not like the sprint race, did not like these hard tyres, but he's keeping Jax Daniels on his toes. Jack's not able to close the gap on Portuguese, who we've seen had many races where he's won by quite a lot of time, but here in Jeddah, Portuguese has had to fight for this win. A little bit of a comfortable gap as it stands, but it's not a big one. If he gets a track limits penalty, the race win's lost. So yeah, he's had to work hard for this one. His knuckles have definitely got a little bit of paleness to them. He's just losing out to this current battle for P14. The drivers just getting slightly dispatched from each other. Let's check out Benja. You'll see in the Div 2 race. Div 2, of course, will be following this race in about, it's getting a bit tight, but in about 15-20 minutes time. Normally it's about 9 PM UK, but we are running a little bit behind here. So yeah, about 15 and 20 minutes time, Div 2 boys will be in action doing the Jeddah sprint format. So don't miss that one. It's going to be a tasty one. As Katamiz does get past Fleazy, but Fleazy kicks that cat into the wind and goes for P16. But Katamiz did the trail braking into the final corner and saved himself some battery, and he's done it again. Good strategy from Haas, I like that. And then completely shoves his arse into the face of Fleazy. Hector and Brutus have caught up to Benji. Is Benji just nursing his tyres a bit too much? As Hector in the Ferrari, the reserve driver, looking very much at home here. Just has to stop behind the Mercedes. Brilliant I think brilliant knowledge of the circuit, to be fair, of knowing. The battle here is Adamaco and Carez. Carez has caught up to Adamaco, the medium tyres, and they're probably not the strongest side to be on. Switches to the other side here, then Williams to have a look at the inside, but lets the Ferrari stay ahead for now, as the other Ferrari up to P7 now. And we haven't said it that much in recent times, but the Ferrari in a very good position at the moment, 5th and 7th. And yeah, some big points for the Ferrari team. Just watching behind for now. Easy looking at losing out to Giza on the final corner. Giza's probably dying for a shit again. Carez taking another look as we go back and have a look at the Mercedes, actually over the back of Jax Daniels. Through turn 22, and the Mercedes closing. Has he got enough road to make the overtake? He's not going at this moment in time. As Fleazy going into the pits looking to do a fastest lap attempt. Now that would be something. Tommy doing another attempt here on the Haas. Is he close enough to make a move? He's not, so I'll have to settle his composition. Carez has got himself ahead of Adamaco. Adamaco probably doesn't need to push it this much as they start the final lap, knowing that the Carez has the track limits penalty. Takes a quick look. He doesn't need to risk his position at all. So he knows that this is his only moment to be able to make the move with this squabble. Portuguese has opened up a 4-second gap. But like I said earlier, it's not as comfortable as it seems for the Audi here in Saudi Arabia. We should get this track on the calendar more often. It's been a cracking race. I don't think some of the drivers appreciate me saying that, but yeah, it's been a brilliant race. Look at Adam, who's approaching. Ooh. He thought about it, Adam, but wasn't close enough as of yet. Let's a quick look as Tommy not close enough to make a move, but we'll jump on with Portuguese, who takes both poles, sprint and race here in Saudi Arabia and extends his lead at the top of the championship. Jack Daniels 10th and a half ahead of Tommy and takes P2. Tommy, brilliant race from him, tried the undercut and has to settle for P3, but what a P3 that was. Pompano P4, just couldn't stick with the front three on the final stages. Perez ahead of Adamako on track, but Adamako jumps him on penalties to take P5. Brilliant race again from both. Heltzer coming home P7, Benji P8, jumping Brutus. B. Perez taking that elite win. Congratulations to him on full-time debut. Benji coming home with that P2 in the elite. Brutus coming home 9th and Amadi ran off the top 10. George will take P3 in the elite podium. Big congratulations to him. I think it might be his first one. Incredible drive. Lennon coming home P12. Benja 13th, who jumps Shawnee P. Shawnee P jumping Benedict, who takes P15. Katamise will come home P16 after trashing the wall. Keys is 17th. And Fleasy, who's going for this fastest lap attempt. Let's see if he can do it. Come on, Fleasy. I think everyone will be cheering. You're trying to get this extra point off Portuguese. It'll be a big one if he can do it, though. Crosses the line. Don't think he did it. We all had our fingers crossed. Oh, I just peeled myself off the sofa. I'm not even sweating. Disgusting. There is the Audi. Put your phone away, you creeping pervert. But you got some naughty photos on there. Raises his trophy into the air once again. Portuguese gets himself another win of the season and the fastest lap to boot. Driver of the day is given to George, with most overtakes to front given to Giza. There is of course extra points given to those with the biggest gain. I've got hiccups. So with the biggest gains. But here's your race results. Fastest lap does go to Portuguese with a 30.6 along with the race win. So he's got the full plethora of prizes for Saudi Arabia. Jack Daniels so close, have to settle P2. Tommy Ash just behind him by 10th and a half. Pompano P4, Adamako 5th, Perez P6, 5 and P6 for Perez, and P1 in the elite. Heltzer 7th from 14th. Crazy drive from him. Benji 8th. I'm going to have to go around so we can get all the standing, but I think it's an incredible drive from everybody, even the ones at DNF, West Greenland Zoo, can just not having their best races. We go again. In about 15 minutes. I think we'll go about 10 past or so for the Div 2 drivers as we get their lobby set up. But thank you everyone for joining us for this Div 1 race. Catch us for the Div 2 race following this. If you want to see the Div 1 boys back on track, we will have a mid-season break next week and be back in 2 weeks' time. I'll bring up my calendar. We will be in Austria for another sprint format on the 19th of August at 7:30 UK. So join us for that. Thank you much for tonight. My name is Alex. This is Lights Out League Racing. Peace out.